Zohran has been really throughout the campaign attacked in an extremely racist way just because of him being Muslim. Cuomo was on this radio show, and the radio host said something like, oh my God, can you imagine if Zohran had been mayor during 9/11? And then the host was like, oh, he would have been cheering. And Cuomo just chuckles along with this, right? Disgusting stuff. Zohran actually was in New York City on 9/11. He was a kid, and he was horrified by it, as everyone was. Sliwa said something like, oh, we can't allow New York City to become Europe. So this is their final push. Like, everything they've thrown at Zohran has completely failed. All of the supposed scandals they tried to dig up have been complete nothing burgers. You know, the latest I saw, like, someone was posting, oh my God, he had sushi at a nice restaurant with his wife. Can you believe the socialist, like, eats nice sushi? The other one that I just saw was some report, I don't know, it was New York Times or something like this, reporting on when he ran for school president and promised juice and wasn't able to fulfill his promises. Like, this is
messed up.
This is what they've got on this guy, okay?
Do that.
So they've just decided to go to complete naked Islamophobia and racism in the final phase. And Zohran, who has tried to really keep his, as a democratic socialist, try to keep his program incredibly universalist, felt the need, like, okay, I got to stand up for myself. I've got to stand up for Muslims in the city. And so he gave a speech talking about these attacks and what they mean. And like I said, trying to speak up for Muslims in the city. Let's go ahead and take a listen to a bit of that.
Yesterday, Andrew Cuomo laughed and agreed when a radio host said that I would cheer another 9/11. Yesterday, Eric Adams said that we can't let our city become Europe. He compared me to violent extremists. And he lied again and again when he said that our movement seeks to burn churches and destroy communities. The day before that, Curtis Sliwa slandered me from the debate stage when he claimed that I support global jihad. And every day, Super PAC ads imply that I am a terrorist or mock the way I eat. Push polls that ask New Yorkers questions like whether they support invented proposals to make halal food mandatory, or political cartoons that represent my candidacy as an airplane hurtling towards the World Trade Center. But I do not want to use this moment to speak to them any further. I want to use this moment to speak to the Muslims of New York City. I want to speak to the memory of my aunt, who stopped taking the subway after September 11th because she did not feel safe in her hijab. I want to speak to the Muslim who works for our city, whether they teach in our schools or walk the beat for the NYPD. New Yorkers who all make daily sacrifices for the city they call home, only to see their leaders spit in their face.
So you can see, Emily, him being very emotional there. What did you think of his decision to address this at the end of the race, which I think entails some risks? You know, I mean, up to this point, his approach had been, I'm just going to kind of like ignore that this is happening, stay above the fray. Like you said before, he tries to keep his campaign like relentlessly positive.
Yeah.
You know, always smiling, always putting forward like a positive vision for the future, even as he has come under, you know, incredibly ugly attacks. I remember the Cuomo people in the primary too. They were putting out these mailers where they like lengthened his beard and darkened his skin again to try to make him look like some scary jihadist.
We do that with Sagar, by the way, in all of our promotional graphics.
just to help me to win the debates with him.
Yes,
just give me that little bit of an edge. But you know, you had that. You had. And this is not just coming from Republicans, by the way. This is Cuomo, who's allegedly a Democrat. Kirsten Gillibrand calling him a jihadist.
Birthers originally came from the Clinton campaign.
So it's been bipartisan ugliness. And there's also, I mean, not that anyone cares about like philosophical consistency. But on the one hand, they're like, he's so far left in the queer liberation, and here's some crazy shit that he said. And on the other hand, he's like ushering in Sharia law. So which is it, guys? Come on, which is it?
This is and actually, from someone who is like very skeptical about political Islam, my argument to Elise Stefanik rocking around calling him a jihadist is that you are, like, politically, that is insane. What you are doing is softening it so that if you actually had somebody who was like a Sharia follower who ran for office, that has no meaning anymore. Just like all of the other terms that were leveled at people like Elise Stefanik, and she argued against it, lost so much of their meaning because they were just being tossed around to people who you thought, like her. Let's say her argument against Zohran Mamdani would be he is going to give aid and comfort to jihadists. That is different than him being a jihadist, even if you believe that argument, which I don't believe that argument, though we probably would disagree on his imam photo op and all of that. But like, you're completely making that term like meaningless if you are calling Zohran Mamdani, who's marching in the pride parades, a jihadist. Like, stop it. That is so stupid. And it is so counterproductive. On the political level with that speech, I thought it was really interesting because one thing that he's careful to do is always be a glass half full guy. Yeah. And I don't blame anyone, especially people, you know, like even women who run for office. Like, I don't blame anyone for seeing the world as glass half full after going through that experience, or glass half empty, I'm sorry, when you're in the middle of an experience like that. But politically, it's one of his benefits that he actually gives New Yorkers a ton of credit, and he always sees New York as glass half full. And so I think the implication of that speech was truly, I forget, I should have pulled out one of the lines in particular, but it's truly that New York is a place where people experience deep, widespread Islamophobia. And that isn't to discredit Islamophobia that people actually experience in New York, but I think he has been careful. This is just the political strategy of it, to give New Yorkers a lot of credit, to give Americans a lot of credit, and to always be like sunny and optimistic. So I don't blame anyone for not being sunny and optimistic. Politically, I thought that was just it was a different approach from him.
I mean, can you blame him when Randy Fine, member of Congress, is right now attempting to denaturalize him?
No.
You know, I mean, that's...
Of course not.
And that's
Or he's being called a jihadist.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the thing is, like, there has been an upsurge in Islamophobia in a truly, again, bipartisan way post-October 7th. That has resulted in now, I mean, I see Mehdi Hassan all day long getting told, like, we're going to denaturalize you. Will Chamberlain and all these characters, and Matt Walsh, like, going to war with him, and we're going to denaturalize you, and you're not a real American, and we want you out of our country, blah, blah, blah. This is just commonplace discourse, mainstream discourse. Now, that happens to be coming from the right, but as I said, you have, you know, plenty of Democrats who have indulged in this as well because they can't defend Israel anymore, so instead they have to smear and dehumanize Muslims in particular, and Arab Muslims specifically, but Muslims in particular. And so this is the reality of America that we live in. And so I think it makes sense for him to address that directly, because I think that he's probably speaking to a lot of people and the way that they feel their grasp on being, you know, considered real Americans and a full part of the fabric of society kind of slipping away from them, and that even Democrats who in the past have defended them are sort of allowing that to occur. Speaking of which, we have Bill Maher, who, is taking a similar tack on his show, attacking Zohran for being a citizen of Uganda, and like weirdly blaming Zohran for the policies that are in place in Uganda, as if he has any power or control over that or supports those policies. Let's go ahead and take a listen to E7.
The issue now that Andrew Cuomo is bringing up in New York is that he is a Ugandan citizen. Uganda is a country where they kill homosexuals.
So somebody who is a dual citizen can't be mayor of New York, or?
I would renounce, if I was the dual citizen with a country whose policy, the government policy, was we kill homosexuals, I would renounce that citizenship. I don't, and to not, and And he also
I think that is buying into a fear framework that is not
fear
good.
of killing homosexuals,
It's
yes.
not good for the country. It's not good for the country.
You shouldn't be afraid
And I
of
think
that.
the way that Cuomo is closing out this race and really race baiting and really leaning in on
that's
what
not
if we
right.
were
It's
there and
not
something like 9/11.
No, you know what? Just because
I don't
it's
think that's
done,
good for the country.
I understand, but just because something is done by people in Africa doesn't mean it's always okay.
Now, I'm going to guess, Emily, that Bill Maher has not had any problem with the Israeli dual citizens in the country, or indicated that, their continued Israeli citizenship would indicate that they, for sure support a genocide, et cetera.
Yes, but Krystal, Israel has the greatest pride parade. Have you heard about the Tel Aviv Pride Parade?
Many times, actually. Weirdly, a lot I've heard about the Tel Aviv Pride Parade.
Have you heard about the Ugandan Pride Parade? Probably not. So now you can see Bill Maher's logic.
You're giving me something to chew on here.
Yes, something to think about, When I'm siding with Kate Bedingfield in an exchange, something's gone wrong. That's all
We've gone off the rails here.
Yes.
All right, well, we promised KJP, so let's get to KJP.
Let's do it.
Hey, if you like that video, hit the like button or leave a comment below. It really helps get the show to more people.
And if you'd like to get the full show ad-free and in your inbox every morning, you can sign up at breakingpoints.com.
That's right. Get the full show, help support the future of independent media at breakingpoints.com.